Ian Wilfert here. So you've decided you want to buy a home. First of all, congrats. That's a big step, and I know it can feel a little overwhelming at first. That's exactly why I've put together this series of short videos to walk you through every part of the process. From deciding what you want, getting pre-approved, touring homes, writing offers, you get the idea. Whether you're a first-time buyer or just need a refresher, this will give you a clear idea of what to expect, what to do next, and how to move through this process with confidence. Each video is under a minute long and covers one step at a time. You can watch them in order or jump around to the stage you're currently in. And of course, if you ever have any questions or you're ready to take that next step, reach out and I'd be happy to help you get started. Let's dive in. You've decided you want to buy a home. This is an exciting step, but before you dive in, you need to make sure you're clear on your goals. What kind of home are you looking for? Is this going to be a long-term investment or more of a short-term move? Also, what's your budget? We'll get into all these steps of the home buying process in the next few videos, but first, take some time to consider your why behind this purchase. Are you moving for a new area for work? Maybe you're looking for some more space for your family. Whatever your reasons, knowing what you want will help you make the right decisions moving forward. In the next part, we'll talk about getting pre-approved for a loan, which is your first real step in actually making things happen. Before you even start looking at homes, you need to get it pre-approved for a loan. Why? Because this gives you a clear idea of your budget and shows sellers you're serious about buying. Without your pre-approval, you're basically just window shopping, so let's avoid that. To get pre-approved, you'll need to provide some financial info like your income, debt, and credit score to a lender. The lender will then tell you how much they're willing to approve you for. This isn't a final number, but it gives you a good idea of what price range you should be shopping in. If you'd like to be connected to a lender that I work with, feel free to reach out and I can get the ball rolling for you. In the next part, we'll talk about what happens when you start touring homes and how to know what's right for you. Now that you're pre-approved and you know your budget, it's time to hit the streets. Touring homes can be one of the most fun parts of the process, but also the trickiest. You need to find something that's both a good fit for your needs and is within your budget. When touring homes, focus on the big picture. Think about things like the layout, the location, and the condition. Don't get caught up in the small stuff like paint, colors, and decor. We can always change it. Also, think about how long-term your decision is. Is this a home you see yourself in for the next few years? Are you planning to move again soon? In the next part, we'll talk about making an offer on a home once you found the perfect place. Found a home you like? Now it's time to write an offer. This is where things get real. When making an offer, you need to take into consideration the listing price, how long the home's been on the market, and how much you're willing to pay. You don't always have to offer the asking price. Sometimes, depending on the market, you might offer lower or even higher. I will help you craft the best offer to make sure it stands out. Once your offer's in, we'll talk about what happens next, like dealing with the seller and counter offers. That's coming up in part 5. Congrats, your offer has been submitted. You may have received a counter offer from the seller. This is a pretty common part of the process and it's nothing to be scared of. If the seller counters your offer, it's just a negotiation. They might ask for a different price or another change of terms. If you get a seller multiple counteroffer, it means the seller's negotiating with several buyers at the same time. This might feel like a competitive situation, but it's important to stay calm and think about what you're willing to do. The best approach is to let me get insight on the seller's situation. Then we can come up with a response that aligns with their needs and your budget. Once you've navigated counteroffers and agreed on terms, it's time to move into escrow and get your home inspected. Let's dive into that in the next part. Congratulations, you're officially in escrow. This means that both you and the seller have agreed to the terms and the property is now under contract, while we go through the rest of the steps to finalize this deal. The first big thing that we do is get an inspector out there to check out the property. The inspection is crucial because it helps identify issues with the home, things like deferred maintenance, electrical issues, or general concerns. It may feel like you're drinking from a fire hose with all the information you'll get with that report. The thing is, we'll go over it together, and if anything major comes up, we can ask the seller to credit us or fix the repairs for us. In the next part, we'll go over the escrow process and talk about what to expect during the contingency periods. Now that you're in escrow, it's time to go through the details. Escrow is essentially a holding period where a neutral third party, the escrow company, manages the transaction. During this time, there are several contingencies or conditions that need to be met before the sale is finalized. These contingencies can include things like the inspections, like we discussed last video, appraisals, and finalizing your loan. If everything checks out, you're one step closer to getting the keys of your new home. If something comes up, we'll address it and figure out the best way to move forward together. The next step after escrow is the final walkthrough, where we make sure the house is in the condition you expect it to be. Let's talk about that in the next video. You're almost there. Before closing, you'll do a final walkthrough of the property. This is your chance to make sure everything's in the condition you agreed to and nothing's changed since the inspection. Walk through every room and check the basics. Is everything still working? Are there any new issues? Also make sure that any repairs the seller promised to do for us has been done. Once you're confirmed and everything's in order, you're ready to close. Let's go over what happens during the closing in the next video. Congrats. It's official. You've made it to the finish line. At closing, you'll sign the final paperwork, pay any closing costs, and officially transfer ownership of the property. Once everything is signed and processed, we'll meet and you'll get the keys to your new home. Congratulations on being a homeowner. This is a huge achievement, and I'm super excited for you to start this new chapter. If you need any help with anything, I'm always here for you. This series has been a brief overview. If you have any specific or deeper questions, shoot me a message and let's chat.